welcome to the Blue Line, your home for Penn State hockey here on WHVL. Mike Tressa and Andrew Kalista bringing you up to date on all things Penn State hockey. And it was a big weekend for the Lions.
Yeah, definitely the best atmosphere we've seen in Pegula this season. No doubt with the #2 team in the country coming in. It was a sold-out crowd. And the Lions, they brought one of their best games of the season.
And maybe it was because they faced Boston College already once this season. But the Lions were ready right from the start. And the Nittany line was out getting the fans ready. A full student section, sellout crowd. BC was up 1-0 early on a Kevin Hayes goal, but Eamon McAdam made sure it stayed that way with great saves, even stopping a good shot from Johnny Gaudreau on the break. Coach likes what he sees from the freshman. 1-0 after one. Great chance in the second. Max Gardner's shot deflected to Nate Jensen. His shot off the bar. Ricky DeRosa with a good look, but Bill Arnold slides in to protect the net. No goal after the review. Penn State comes right back. Kenny Brooks in front to Taylor Holstrom. His shot blocked, but look at Eric Scheid fighting in front. Second effort gets the goal to go. His 10th of the season. This time the review was held up and Pegula was rocking after the signal. 1-1 game with the #2 team. After a pair of penalties, 4-on-4, and look at Johnny Gaudreau. So dangerous in open space. Picks the pass, fires cross ice to Arnold, and he's going to give it back to the leading scorer in college hockey. McAdam, no chance. Gaudreau, 19-game point streak alive, 2-1 after 2. Third period, here's a problem. Jonathan Milley called for boarding, 5-minute major. On the power play, Arnold, the quick out to Kevin Hayes, who fires off post for a 3-1 lead. 3 assists for Arnold. Milley can just look on from the penalty box, but the Lions fight back. Captain Tommy Olczyk gets the steal, has a breakaway attempt on the shorthanded goal, but tripped up from behind. Refs call the penalty on Teddy Doherty. That means penalty shot for Olczyk, trying to go 5-hole, but freshman Thatcher Demko shuts it. BC still on the power play, and McAdam keeping them out of the net, making saves even without a stick as he loses it here out in front of the crease. 27 saves in the game for McAdam. That leads to this. Luke Uha sending the pass up to Taylor Holstrom. 2-on-1, and he'll keep it. Off Demko's shoulder, 3-2 game. Penn State conference leading, 4th shorthanded goal of the season. Everyone can celebrate. The fans and even Milley in the box. Godowski trying to get something from his team, but unable to convert. Another goal past Demko. Penn State battles all the way back, but falls 3-2 to the Eagles.
You do get confidence when you play honest and you play well and you do have a good performance that you can do it. If you can do it against a Boston College, if you can limit them to, you know, the number of even strength shots we did and limit their goal production, it does give you confidence. And we do feel good about that. I mean, they are a fantastic team and they're a fantastic offensive team. And so we can take a lot of positive confidence from that.
We've been able to play with some of the best teams in the country. And, you know, the last time we played Boston College, we only did it for 10 minutes out of 60 minutes. You know, tonight we did it for a lot longer. And we proved that, you know, we can play with, you know, probably the most skilled team.
Here we see the board from the game. Penn State actually out shooting the highest scoring team in the country, but it's those penalties again, specifically the major resulting in 13 penalty minutes for the Lions, also giving up 5 power plays to only getting 2 of their own.
In this week's Player of the Week, we're not taking the conventional approach because one player did more off the ice than any of the players could possibly on the ice.
Yeah, this week we're going with David Glenn for giving himself up, not for the game, but for a complete stranger. Glenn found out he was a bone marrow match for a cancer patient, and he was recognized on Thon Night for giving the ultimate assist to someone else. Great sign by the students in the section, a chance for someone to continue their own life. David Glenn, round of applause.
A complete stranger, no less. Glenn missed the Boston College game and will miss the 2 games at Ohio State due to the procedure this past week, but it's more about what he is gaining than anything that he is missing.
I mean, it's obviously been arranged. When I first found out, it was shock, and after I found out what was kind of involved, I was obviously excited. You know, the support I've gotten with through social media and emails and stuff has been really just more than I could ever imagine, and especially with the game on Saturday, going out on the ice, that was really just a special moment for me. I had so many stories of people just supporting me, and even people telling me their own stories about, you know, how a random bone marrow transplant has saved someone in their life or their own life. I know even during that game Saturday, I got a message during the game saying, hey, you know, I'm at the game and I've gone through this procedure, and I just wanted to really thank you. And it's been, like I said, just really special and just more than I could ever, you know, think of or imagine that this would happen.
Hard to top that in the good department. Such a selfless act, but Penn State did a lot of good even in the loss.
Yeah, you can hang with the #2 team in the country and the #1 offensive team in the country without playing some exceptional defense, and that was one thing Penn State was able to take away from this. Penn State showed a major improvement stopping the dangerous Eagles scores by breaking up scoring chances and limited rebound chances that hurt them back in December. The top line of Gaudreau, Hayes, and Arnold got the points. They've done that on every opponent this year, no surprise, but Penn State didn't allow any secondary lines to score, which kept them in the game.
And speaking of hanging in the game, Penn State really showed again they belong with the top team. After folding after 15 minutes in the first meeting, Penn State had a chance to tie this game late in the third by battling back and getting shots on net. Unfortunately, their efforts came up just short.
And as Coach said before, you can take the positives away from this, but you also have to look at the negatives, and there are some things that they still need to work on.
We'll get to the major area they need to improve in a few seconds, but first, Penn State has to start with mental focus. Coach Godowski talked about it, and it's been a theme about playing full games all season, but with these close games, Penn State has really struggled to play up to their full capability without some letdown. Godowski said, quote, "That's something that will happen to young teams, but usually doesn't happen this often," end quote, and recently it came in the form of penalties.
The Lions are the most penalized team in the conference, and now 2 weeks in a row with major penalties in the third period in both games, they were winnable. Not only that, Penn State had 2 penalties in this game for too many men on the ice. That can't happen. There's that mental focus part. Their good penalty kill numbers have now dropped to last in the conference because of always being in this situation. It was a real point of concern for Godowski in this week's Sounding Off, presented by Ace Hardware of State College.
I'm disappointed that, we had, 1 goal a game again, and we take a major. I'm disappointed in that. I don't know how many times we have to learn that lesson, and it's getting a little redundant. We've now lost mental focus in very close games twice now, and I just don't. I thought we learned that lesson, put it that way. That's why I'm a little disappointed.
Up next, Penn State looks to rebound from the Boston College loss and get their first conference win of the season when they cross the state line to face Ohio State. We'll have the info on the Buckeyes coming up when the Blue Line returns.
Obviously, some of it's just going to develop over traditions from other sports, and I certainly think this is one. So I would not be surprised at all if this is one that develops into a rivalry. So I'm looking forward to the intensity of the weekend, that's for sure.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. Penn State hitting the road to take on Ohio State this weekend, and if there was a time for Penn State to get their first conference win, this really could be it. Penn State coming off a great game against the Boston College Eagles, plus Penn State and Ohio State played one time last year, a 5-4 win for the Lions.
Yeah, but this year Ohio State's turned it around. After losing in a shootout to Michigan State and then falling to Minnesota and Wisconsin, they got a big win on the road at the Kohl Center against the Badgers, and that's huge for Ohio State's confidence.
Yeah, their second win in the conference, so they have 2 wins. Penn State, none so far, but we'll see how the teams match up with the J. Magai Mitsubishi matchup board. Ohio State has been solid on the offensive side, tied for second most goals in the Big Ten and leading everyone in power play percentage. Penalties, the biggest difference, though. Penn State, most in the conference, as we've said. Ohio State, they have the least.
Some more info on the Bucs. They have been dominant at home, 10-3-1, but are riding a huge road win over the Badgers. Ohio State features the Big Ten points leader, Ottawa Senators draft pick Ryan Dzingel. The area that Penn State might have the best chance against the goalies, which have been a rotating cast this season. A win here could get the ball rolling for the Lions.
Well, we've seen Ryan Dzingel, I know, is fantastic. He's not the only one. Tanner Fritz is great. I mean, they do have very good offensive players. Are there similarities in the Big Ten? I'm not sure you're ever going to get a weekend where you say, geez, finally we get a break. I mean, there's some of the most talented players in the nation happen to be on Big Ten teams, and so this is no exception.
So Penn State will be looking for that win to get their foot back in the conference and also feed off the performance against Boston College. And for the area that Penn State needs to work on, I think we both know where they need to start.
Yeah, we always sound like a broken record on here. It's penalties, penalties, penalties. The last 3 games we've seen their penalties drop, but that's not good enough. With that said, how and when the Lions are taking these penalties, 2 for 7 minutes against BC, 3 for 17 minutes against Michigan State. Those are just in the third period. The Lions need to stop taking these long, late penalties in close games, especially to a Buckeye team that is very strong on the power play. Most power play goals this year in the Big Ten. Coach Godowski and his team have been working on this problem, and they are trying to find the solution.
And what we've done a number of things. We've addressed it on video. We've addressed it on the ice. We've addressed it with philosophy. We've addressed it with commitment. We've brought in the director of officiating from the Big Ten to go over video and ask and answer questions and things like that. There comes a time when you just have to realize that some guys, it really is a mental toughness issue.
To win, you have to score goals. And in this week's player profile, Elise catches up with Taylor Holstrom, who's catching fire with a goal in his last 2 games.
I'm here with redshirt junior Taylor Holstrom. And Taylor, you had a big game against Boston College, scoring the 2nd goal. What's led to your success on offense this season?
I think I've been playing with some guys that are working hard on offense and making some good plays, and we hope to get more opportunities like that.
And you transferred here from Mercyhurst. What was it like coming to a new team and in a new program?
It was awesome. I mean, it kind of gives you a chance to set down the foundation, and especially coming to Penn State, you get everything you can ask for in a college. You get the athletics, the academics, the student body. Everything's great.
And you're right now in the heart of the Big Ten schedule. Big games coming up. What are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking to play Michigan, along with some other teams, but this the consistent level of play. It's really awesome to have that every single weekend, and hopefully we get the season rolling here.
All right. Thanks very much, Taylor.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Great job, Elise. Coming up here on the Blue Line, we are joined by Rick Pizzo, host of Big Ten's Frozen Fridays, and we take a look back at some great plays from the weekend. Don't go anywhere. The Blue Line will be right back.
You could call it anxious. I mean, we've been in a lot of close games, and we just haven't been able to put that last one in to go ahead of a team, and we're just got to keep working hard and make sure we pull ahead this time.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. Mike Tressa and Andrew Kalista alongside you, and we have the pleasure now to welcome in Rick Pizzo from the Big Ten Network, the host of Frozen Fridays. And Rick, first question to you. Penn State's in their first year of play in the Big Ten Conference, just their 2nd year of play in Division I hockey. What has been your impression of the team so far, how they're adapting to that level, especially in the Big Ten?
Well, in the first year of D1, they had some huge wins. I think they surprised some people, beat Michigan State, beat Wisconsin, beat UVM. Year 2 has been a little bit more difficult, and I think you're seeing just how hard it becomes when you're playing a completely D1 schedule and you're in a league like the Big Ten where you have to play teams like Minnesota and Wisconsin each and every weekend. And then for Penn State, you get a break from the league, and who you get? You have to play BC, one of the top teams in the nation, with Hobie Baker candidate and Johnny Gaudreau comes into town. And Penn State, like you heard in that soundbite, has played so many of these games close. The 1-goal loss to Minnesota, the 1-goal loss to BC. They're growing pains. They're to be expected. I love what Guy Gadowski is doing. And when you still don't have any seniors on that roster and you can continue to build with the nucleus that you have, I think the future is very bright. It may just take a year or two to catch up with these programs that have decades and decades of experience to build on.
Rick, you just brought up those 1-goal games to the major players in college hockey. What's the trajectory? I know you just said 1 or 2 years, but how long before they could actually make some noise?
I think you're looking at a 2 to 3 year window. I think a 1 to 2 year window before you're maybe competing toward the end of the year in the Big Ten Conference. I think more like a 2 to 3 year window before you're considered a legitimate conference contender on an annual basis. And I think you need to look at a 5-year window from now. So that's a 6-year window from the time that the program was actually brought into inception to expect that they're going to be a player on the national stage. That gives Guy Gadowski a full 4-year cycle to get guys in, to recruit guys, that he doesn't have to just get transfers from other programs and bring guys in from the USHL. He can recruit just like every other coach in the nation's recruiting. And then you give a couple of years for that system to settle in. Guy has proven that he can win with different systems at different places in different leagues. So I think the answer is 5 to 6 years before fans should expect Penn State to be an annual player on the national scene.
We're about halfway through the first year of the Big Ten Conference. What have you liked so far, and what do you expect this could do for college hockey?
Well, I think one of the most exciting things is the fact that the Big Ten is playing a style that not a lot of people thought they could play. You look at Ohio State, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and for a while, Michigan was up there as well as some of the highest scoring teams in the country. Everybody expected that out of Minnesota. I don't think people expected that out of Ohio State, and I know people didn't expect it out of Wisconsin. They were expecting a team that was going to win by grinding it out and playing solid defense. So I think it's been a positive for fans to be able to see a more exciting brand, a more offensive-minded brand of hockey than a lot of people expected. And I think the biggest benefit of this year we'll see the third week of March with the first ever Big Ten tournament at the XL Center in St. Paul. Unbelievable venue, all 6 teams involved. The champion gets the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. I think at year's end, when you go through and look at the games that the Big Ten provided, look at the doubleheaders that we were able to show each and every Friday night in conference play on BTN, and then every game of the tournament being broadcast as well, it's not only good for Big Ten hockey and all the schools involved, it's good for hockey as a whole in terms of the national picture of college hockey.
Rick, real quick, outdoor games are really exciting. Minnesota played outdoors, Michigan State last year. Is this something we're going to have to look forward to in the coming years, that every team's going to host an outdoor game?
You know, I'm in the minority because I hope not. I mean, I think that probably you will see it. I think we've, to use a cliche term, I think we've jumped the shark on these games. I really do. I think the fact that everybody's doing them, we've seen the NHL now do 5 or 6 or 7 already this winter. It's a little too much for me. I mean, unless the conditions are absolutely perfect, you typically don't see a very exciting brand of hockey. The Minnesota-Ohio State game outside was great because it brought in 45,000 people. Minnesota, one of the premier programs in the history of college hockey, had never hosted one before. So that's great, do it. But it was 1-0. The ice was chippy. It was sloppy. I think it's a little bit overdone, honestly. I'm looking forward to just getting back to playing regular games. And if you want to make it an outlier, have one every couple of years at a certain place, that's fine. But don't over-inundate people with it.
All right, Rick, thanks a lot. Really appreciate you taking the time to join us. And you can catch him on Frozen Fridays and many other programs on the Big Ten Network. Thanks a lot, Rick.
My pleasure, guys. Be good.
In the midst of a 5-game stretch in 8 days, the women have dropped 2 at conference foes. Syracuse 3-2 and 3-0. On Tuesday night, a 6-1 final against Princeton. Penn State now 4-20-2 on the year. This weekend, they take on RIT at Pegula. Saturday's contest will be a pink zone game as the Lions skate for a cure at 2 p.m. In this week's player profile, we look at sophomore netminder Celine Whitlinger. The California native is hot in the goal with 3 wins for the Lions this season.
We're here with sophomore goalie Celine Whitlinger. And Celine, you've been in goal for 3 of the 4 wins so far this season. What's led to your success?
I mean, overall, it's just like a team effort. We're all working really hard. Personally, I work as hard as I can in practice, but the wins are definitely a whole team kind of thing.
You guys have been really close in a lot of games, coming to overtime. And what's that final thing you need to get over that hump?
I think the big thing is just staying positive. We had a breakthrough against our game against Colgate. We pushed through and got that overtime win. So I think we just really need to keep pushing, stay positive, and it'll come.
And this Saturday, you guys have a big game, skate for the cure, pink jerseys and everything. What do you want fans to know coming into this game on Saturday?
It's for a great cause. It's for all stuff goes to Thon, and we're auctioning off our pink jerseys that we're going to be wearing in the game. So it'll be great for everyone to show up.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Celine.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Elise. Up next on the Blue Line, we hand out some hardware and we take a look around the Big Ten. Don't go anywhere. The Blue Line will be right back.
You know, the fact that the Icers had such success during those years, that's what attracted Terry Pegula, to be a part of Penn State hockey and to help us make this.
Welcome back to the Blue Line. That was Joe Batista on our show as a guest back in December talking about Penn State hockey and their accomplishments, and now he is getting his own recognition.
Yeah, special congratulations to Joe Ba, named the recipient of the AHCA's Lou Lamoriello Award, which recognizes former players or coaches for their unique and distinguished professional careers. Batista will get his award at this year's Frozen 4 in Philadelphia.
And now for our awards, we start with the Aaron's Amazing Save of the Week. This may be the best yet. Ryan Fitzgerald at the far side, beautiful cross to Austin Cangelosi. Open net and goal by a diving Eamon McAdam. Amazing glove save. And look at that, getting up so cool and just dropping it. Looks like a shortstop going across the middle there is Eamon. Gloves it, prevents the goal there. Check it again, another look right in front. He thinks he has an easy goal. McAdam stuffs him out, one of his 27 saves in the game.
Great save there in the Cove Crunch of the week. I'm going with Mike Williamson. Loose puck, and he jacks up Ryan Fitzgerald, preventing a goal. Called for tripping, though. I don't see it. Take another look. Williamson knocks him off the puck, all upper body. I don't see a trip. I'm calling bad call right there.
Well, this week should be a good one as well in the Big Ten with all 6 teams in conference playing each other. But first, we we take a look back at the past weekend's games.
Things started on Thursday with Michigan beating Michigan State in Detroit. The Wolverines followed that up with a Friday win. Big fight in that one, by the way. Wisconsin opened their series with Ohio State getting a 5-3 win, and Minnesota beat St. Cloud State in the first round of the North Star College Cup.
On Saturday, you know, Penn State lost already, and Ohio State, they had the big bounce-back 3-1 win over the Badgers. Minnesota finished things up with the College Cup championship, getting the shootout win over Minnesota Duluth.
That solidified Minnesota as the top team in the country and in the Big Ten. Wisconsin staying at number 9 overall, splitting the weekend. Michigan overtook Michigan State in the conference with the sweep, and Ohio State and Penn State rounded out.
Those teams score off this weekend while Michigan State travels to Minnesota. Spartans, only team in the conference who has beaten the Gophers, albeit in a shootout, while Wisconsin and Michigan battle for second place. We saw sparks fly last week and skates sharpening in the Pegula spotlight. This week, we'll throw some water on those flames and take a look at the laundry facility at Pegula Ice Arena. Penn State's equipment team has to keep the unis looking the best, and with all the gear used by 2 hockey teams, it helps to have a top laundry facility.
And laundry, which is, it's one of the nicer laundry facilities where it's just like a hockey program get to use it. It's nice to have.
Quick turnarounds come from state-of-the-art machines that can handle up to 100-pound loads.
You can do full team's worth of towels in one of those washers in the dryer out in an hour.
In the Health South injury update, Dylan Richard, he left the game early against BC. He's probable with a lower body injury, and David Glenn out, saving lives.
All right, so Penn State hitting the road, facing Ohio State. We said they're a tough team. At home, was your key for this game against the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Penalties and stop the Zynga.
I think this was the week Penn State finally gets their first Big Ten win. We'll see as it happens Friday and Saturday, the games. We'll see you guys next week. That does it for the Blue Line.